sources have finally revealed the process of Gunna's release from prison. Gunna's release happened a lot faster than some of you would imagine. Randomly on December 14th, Rap TV reported, "Breaking, Gunna set to be released from prison after pleading guilty to racketeering and team charges," as a surprise court hearing was held just for YSL rapper Gunna. Many people, including Young Thug, had no idea this court hearing was even being held, as you could tell from this video clip of Gunna snitching.
You agree or acknowledge that statements are true, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance.
Yes, ma'am.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped a vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocarbons and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL to the detriment of my community. YSL again. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
If you're a fan of Young Thug, leave a like on the video. I'm curious how many fans are watching today. Now in the video clip, the courtroom is practically empty on the inside. This video clip also shows YSL rapper Gunna saying yes ma'am to several questions. Questions about YSL, as well as questions involving crimes about Young Thug, and crimes that YSL has committed, which makes Young Thug look very guilty. Sources claim while Gunna was accepting his plea deal in court, he didn't even sound too happy. Many believed getting released from prison, he should have and would have been very excited. But allegedly, he almost sounded very emotional, as he kind of knew what he was doing was wrong. Now with Gunna's reputation on the line, him and his team were quick to make a statement and break the silence on the snitching rumors, as Gunna released this statement on social media. While I've agreed to always be truthful, I want to make it perfectly clear that I have not made any statements, have not been interviewed, have not cooperated, and have not agreed to testify or be a witness for or against any party in the case, and have absolutely no intention in being involved in the trial process in any way. Now, while Gunna's statement makes the video of him saying yes ma'am 10 times, admitting YSL is a street team and that YSL does illegal activities, it makes the entire situation very, very confusing, as we have video proof of him snitching. Now, it wasn't until the next day in the courtroom, YSL Kingpin was just having a regular court hearing. Young Thug was going in thinking it would just be another thing of little evidence being thrown and new evidence shown. Little did he know that his entire world would be flipping upside down for the worst, as during this court hearing, this is when Young Thug was told the news of Gunna pleading guilty to several charges and also revealing that YSL does a lot of street activities. Now, looking at these photos, Young Thug looks very worried. Sadly, I actually cannot show this video clip, but when the judge reveals that Gunna accepted a plea deal and that Gunna gave up information on YSL, he is seen putting his head back to the back of his chair and then leaning backwards, showing lots of sad emotions, which is never good to see. However, Gunna isn't the only YSL member to snitch, as also this week, YSL member Obama was seen in court footage accepting his own plea deal. Now, he was accused of trying to deal with YFN Lucci a few years ago. He's also the YSL member that was caught on video asking Young Thug for permission to go after YFN Lucci, and supposedly gonna get payment for doing so. As DJ Academics reported, this once again puts even more evidence on Young Thug, as we later saw George Chitty tweet, "My read here is that the the DA will cut almost everyone else a deal if it means improving their chances of convicting Young Thug. Now, making it very clear that the prosecutors, they do not care about any small-time YSL member, or in Gunna's case, a big-time YSL member. They only want one man, the one man being the kingpin of YSL, known as Young Thug. Now, sources are also claiming now today that the plea deal that Gunna took was in the works for roughly a few weeks. Now, this was hinted towards the courtroom roughly 2 to 3 weeks ago, as a surprise court hearing revealed there is 300 new witnesses as well as snitches against the rap group YSL, and most importantly against head honcho Young Thug. As the state announced, the state says it will be calling 300 new witnesses during the YSL trial and may require 3.5 months. Judge Glanville thinks that it will take longer. And this piece of court information also reveals that the prosecutors and feds are willing to use their entire financial budget to make sure Young Thug goes to prison for life. As each week that goes by, the YSL case gains an average of 2 snitches. This has been an issue the entire court case, as when the first snitch came out, this was said during a court hearing.
He's the one directing traffic. He is the one they're all afraid of. He's the one that's king slime. He is the most dangerous of the 28, Judge. And I implore you not to grant him a bond. He is dangerous. If he gets a burner, Judge, and the court may know this, a lot of the communications that Mr. Williams is on FaceTime, because it's not traceable, it's not trackable. Judge, I will also say that we have taken proffers from fellow from Mr. Williams. Some are on this indictment, some are not. They have stated uniformly that Mr. Williams is dangerous. They are afraid of him, that if they cross him, he will them and their family. And they were very clear about that.
Concerns that this court has is danger to persons and to intimidate other witnesses and obstruct the administration of justice. So and for those reasons in the aggregate, I'm going to deny bond at this time.
At this time, the one snitch ended up being found and identified by YSL members, as Young Thug had enough of the snitching already at that point and wanted it dealt with. This is when we saw on an early morning a couple months ago, a YSL member named Jaden Myrick admitted on the stand in the federal courtroom that he is in fact a YSL team member and was intimidating the snitches in the case as they were snitching against Young Thug. Jaden Myrick had to admit this as the feds allegedly had hard-hitting evidence going against him already. Now, the man snitching that he was intimidating is known as Lil Woody, as Lil Woody demanded safety for him and his family after he started snitching on Young Thug. As Lil Woody stated during his snitching interview that Young Thug is, quote, a very dangerous person. If you cross him, he will get you and your family. But allegedly, Lil Woody didn't only snitch on Young Thug. Allegedly, Woody also snitched on Lil Baby, as well as other members of YSL. Now, the feds know that he's close with many members in YSL, and it could have been directed at an earlier time to try to get more members of YSL that were arrested to take plea deals and to start snitching against Young Thug, as life in prison isn't worth what they were doing on the outside. And this once again making it very clear that Young Thug is the only man the prosecutors want in the entire court case. They don't care about anyone else other than the kingpin, and this was definitely made obvious when Gunna was announced to be released in the courtroom, as Young Thug's lawyers also then argued his release, which was then quickly denied by prosecutors, as prosecutors were ready for this, as they wanted to ruin all chances of Young Thug being released on bond, as they brought up to the judge a tweet sent out on Young Thug's Twitter account. The tweet states, "I'm talking with my roommate, and we're wondering if you could swim 100 miles from the middle of the ocean back to shore, at Michael Phelps." Now, what seems like a very innocent tweet sent out by his music manager by Young Thug's request turned very ugly in the courtroom, as this was Young Thug's lawyer defending him about the matter.
Williams is in a jail outside of Fulton County. There are 0 cell phones in that jail.
That last tweet that was sent out to Michael Phelps is recorded. It's been investigated by the sheriff of that county, and it was a conversation that's recorded between Mr. Williams and a member of his close friendships, that he asked the other person who has control of his Twitter account. That is not a reason to...
Well, this is part of the conversation, Mr. Steele, and you and others are going to need to have with your clients, because this is part of the state's concern. I mean...
That was an innocent... That's nothing bad. Asking somebody to tweet to Michael Phelps, can you swim 100 miles in the ocean? That has nothing to do with intimidation. That ask you, RICO.
Well, if I can communicate through a family member or somebody else, then I can communicate something else.
Everything okay over there?
Sorry.
Yep. Okay, your family was concerned that something was going on. You're fine, right?
Yes, I'm great.
Okay, cool.
As the prosecutors were arguing that Young Thug uses his Twitter account through the jail phone to his manager to send secretive tweets out to YSL members that are free on the outside. Now that definitely sounds like a reach by the prosecutors, but I'm curious to know what you guys believe. And do you believe that Gunna taking his plea deal was the wrong way out for a YSL member? And does that ruin Young Thug's chances of ever being released? It's been District Trending, and I'm out. Peace.